I read this book, time to tell you about it. So this book is about a bunch of witches who are pretty much in persecution at this time in the book. There are witch hunters that are trying to find all these witches, and in the very beginning of the book you find out that the main character kind of has to give up her grandmother in order for her not to get killed by the witch hunters. So because of this, people thought she was against witches. In the book, the way you find out you're a witch is that when you first get your monthly cycle, the blood is black. Yeah, so that was weird. I know personally that if that happened to me, I would probably think I was dying. Especially if you don't know that this is what happens. At this point, she had not had that, so she first finds out she's a witch after her grandmother passed, pretty much. So the witch hunters take her grandmother, and she's gone in a very morbid way. Then it flashes forward 2 years later where there is a person who is killing people and draining them of their blood because the witches in this book use blood magic. So the intensity and the effectiveness of the spell is based upon how fresh and new the blood is. However, you can't just go around killing people, because if the blood is given willingly, you're able to get the maximum effect. So if somebody, like, say, gives it to you, or if you use your own, then it's fine. However, if you kill people and use that blood in order to be fresh, it works against you, so like kind of corrupts you. You follow the story of a woman named Rune, and she is what they call the Crimson Moth, so which is the title of the series, or the duology. I think it's going to be a duology. And the Crimson Moth, her calling card when she uses her blood magic is a Crimson Moth, so that's why they call her that. She is a socialite, so she kind of walks around and acts like a everyday human, and people think she's against witches, but she puts up this like very like la-di-da, I'm like rich and basically a socialite, and she plays up that part. But at night she is the Crimson Moth, and she saves witches from persecution and from prisons and from being killed, pretty much. In the story, she's specifically trying to find one person, and she found out where this person is located, and in order to get to this person, she has to manipulate people in order to get answers. The main person she wants to manipulate is a witch hunter. So the witch hunter is actually her best friend's brother, and he has it out for witches. He does not like them whatsoever, and you find out later in the book why he doesn't like them, and the brother does, because the brother sympathizes with Rune and doesn't care that she's a witch. Like, anybody who knows about a witch pretty much has to give them up, otherwise they could be persecuted too. You follow the relationship that Rune and Gideon, the witch hunter, end up having. Both of them kind of know what the other one is and know that the other one's playing the other one, but they don't know it, or they think the other person doesn't know it. So it's kind of like this weird cat and mouse back and forth kind of thing, and the way it all plays out I think is really cool. It's a very interesting take on being a witch, and you learn why it is that Gideon doesn't like witches. You learn why it is that they act a certain way. So one, I love that these tabs look like the cover. I love that I'm able to do that. But I found all the spaces where there's like some sort of trauma, some sort of thing that you learn about the character that makes them the way they are. So I like that this book shows the character development and what their backstories. Also, there's bits of magic in there, and the only tiny little piece of spice that was in this is this little tab right here. You got some like romance stuff in between, but this is where the spice was, and that was it. This book was pretty good. I'm very interested to see where the second one goes. Don't know when it's coming out. It could be a year from now, which kind of sucks as to why I like reading so fast. But when this came out, I kind of wanted to give the synopsis so people have an idea. I love witch books, and this was pretty good. It's like a historical fiction kind of thing, because it's all about like witch persecution, which is very similar to any other historical fiction, but it doesn't really take place in any sort of place in particular. Like, not that I noticed. Not like it's like England or like New England or something like that. It wasn't like that. It's I don't even know where it takes place, honestly. It doesn't even give like really a time period. It kind of feels like it's old, like horse and carriage, like maybe Bridgerton-ish type old, but that's probably as old as it might be. If you are interested in witches, interested in witch books, this is a great option. I did give it 4 stars out of 5, or if I'm going by my out of 10 scale, I would say it's about a 7 out of 10. There was nothing in this that really made me feel any sort of way. Like, it didn't make me feel angry. It didn't make me feel like overly invested in any of the characters. Like, I didn't cry. There wasn't really much emotion, but it was a good story. So that's it. And if you do want to utilize Book of the Month, I do have a code. If you go to my link tree, you can find out the code for a referral. I think it's a really discounted book. I honestly don't know what it is. I think it changes often. So I don't know if it's a free book or like a certain amount of money off a book. But I like Book of the Month because it doesn't matter if the book is wider or smaller, they're all the same size. So when you put your Book of the Month books on your shelf, they're always going to be the same height. It may be different widths, but always the same height, because I went to the store and I saw this book in the store and it's a lot smaller. So I like that. If you read that book, let me know what you think.